So the hearing for the Oregon Solar Plus Storage Rebate Program will begin in a few minutes. In a moment, we're going to introduce staff from the Oregon Department of Energy, and I'll ask participants to introduce themselves in the chat, state whether they wish to offer comments during the public hearing, the testimony portion. For those joining, if we have anybody on the phone, which I don't think we do, but if anybody joins, I'll ask them to be unmuted, and then introduce themselves and state whether they wish to offer comments as well. And we'll also give the opportunity for attendees to ask clarifying and procedural questions at the end after we've taken testimony during the public hearing. So my name is James Kogel from the Oregon Department of Energy. I will be the hearing officer for today's proceedings. We want to thank you all for participating today. As staff introduce themselves, could participants please just kind of pop their names in the chat, any affiliated organization you happen to have, and whether you wish to offer comments later in the hearing. And I will ask staff to come on screen and introduce themselves. So we'll start with Patricia.
Hi, I'm Patricia Phillips, and I'm here to help you with the webinar. So if you have any questions or concerns or connectivity issues, just let me know through the chat, and thank you very much.
And Christy.
Hi there, I'm Christy Split. I'm our Government Relations Coordinator. My role today is to keep an eye on hands up or any questions or comments in the chat. Thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you both. And just as a reminder, if you could introduce yourself in the chat, that would be great, and state whether you want to provide some comments later in the hearing, that would be great. So we'll start with a brief summary of the proposed rule amendments before discussing the procedures for the hearing, and then we'll enter the testimony stage of the hearing. And materials for today's hearing, including draft rules, are located on the Oregon Department of Energy's website, oregon.gov/energy. Just a few words about using WebEx for those who are new to the platform. You can use the raise hand function to ask a question, and use the chat function to type questions. For those on the phone, you can use the *3 to raise your hand. And I think the kind of raise hand function might look a little differently depending on what platform you're using, but hopefully it's recognizable. Does anybody have any questions about using WebEx before we can begin? You can either raise your hand or pop them in the chat if you do. Get started. So this hearing is being recorded to maintain a permanent record. Today is December 18th, 2023. The time is approximately 3:07 p.m. The public hearing is being held online, and all attendees are participating remotely. This is the time and date set for the public rulemaking hearing. The purpose is to take public comments on proposed permanent rules which would amend the Oregon Solar Plus Storage Rebate Program. The filing caption for this rulemaking is Oregon Solar Plus Storage Rebate Program Amendments. So a brief summary of the proposed amendments to the rules. The 2023 House Bill 3409 amended the definition of a paired solar and storage system to allow greater flexibility for solar contractors participating in the Oregon Solar Plus Storage Rebate Program. The proposed rule amendments align the rule definitions with this language change. Odo is also proposing allowing contractors to split the payment of a paired solar and storage rebate into two. One payment for completion of the solar portion of the installation and one payment for completion of the storage portion of the rebate. The proposed amendments outline that a reservation where the rebate payment is being split does not change to a rebate request until the total rebate amount has been requested, meaning the reservation would still count towards the contractor's reservation count until the full rebate amount has been requested. The rules also detail information required when a rebate payment is requested to be split. Another amendment being proposed is the reduction in the rate at which a rebate is calculated for those residential customers who are not eligible for a utility incentive and do not qualify as low or moderate income. That changes from 50 cents per watt DC to 30 cents per watt DC. The proposed amendments include increasing the number of reservations for low and moderate income customers and low income service providers any one contractor can have at a time from 20 to 25. And another proposed amendment is extending the time a reservation for a low income service provider can be extended by an additional 6 months. Other amendments included in the draft language are being made to provide clarity to the rules, such as removing old dates from the section relating to how Odo will make funds available, or to correct references in the rules. So the Oregon Department of Energy appreciates the information and feedback that stakeholders have provided through the rulemaking process. A notice for today's hearing was filed with the Oregon Secretary of State on November 2nd, 2023, and published in the December 2023 Oregon Bulletin. This hearing will be conducted according to the Oregon Administrative Procedures Act, ORS Chapter 183, and the Attorney General's Model Rules. In addition to the opportunity to present oral comments this hearing, anyone may submit written comments by email or mail until 5 p.m. December 22nd, 2023, which is the close of the public comment period for everyone. Comments received after this date will not be reviewed or considered by the department unless the department decides to extend the public comment period for everyone. After the close of the comment period, the Oregon Department of Energy will review issues raised during the public comment period and prepare a hearing officer's report. The Oregon Department of Energy will make the ultimate decision regarding these rules. If anyone's joined since the beginning and hasn't introduced themselves, I'd like to ask you to please state your name, affiliated organization, and whether you wish to offer comments during the rule hearing. And then we'll move into the testimony from participants. So as stated earlier, this hearing is being recorded to maintain a permanent record. Before you begin your testimony, please state your name and affiliation with an organization, if any, when you introduce yourself. If you happen to have written statements, you can email them to me so that it can be made part of the record. And my email is on the slide. It's james.kogel@energy.oregon.gov. Are there any questions before we begin? You can raise your hand or pop them in the chat. Okay. So we'll begin the public comment section now. Currently, I see Angela Crowley-Cock say that she would like to make comments. Those who have introduced in the chat, thank you for putting your names there. If you do wish to provide comments, please just pop that in as well. Otherwise, it'd be great if you could just indicate whether you want to provide comments so that we make sure that we can get you unmuted so you can provide those comments. So we'll start receiving the public comments now. If Patricia, you could unmute Angela, that would be great.
This is Angela Crowley-Cook.
Hey, Angela.
Hi. The Executive Director of OSEA, the Oregon Solar Plus Storage Industries Association. I'm not sure how to turn on my camera or if you want me to, but don't know how.
We can't see your video, so audio's good.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you for having this hearing and spending time with stakeholders and OSEA putting together the draft rules. OSEA is in general in support of the rules, the draft rules. We appreciate that the language has been updated to allow storage and solar and storage to be purchased together but installed separately, and the rules give good guidance about how to claim those rebate payments. We're very supportive of reducing the rebate rate for systems not eligible for another utility incentive from 50 cents per watt to 30 cents. We also, we appreciate all the other clarifications and the additional extension provided for low-income service providers. And then lastly, I'll talk about the change to the cap. We do appreciate the cap being changed for low-income service providers and low and moderate income residential projects from 20 projects to 25. I will say that there are at least 2 OSEA members who have a different view, who would like to eliminate caps completely. That's the majority of OSEA members prefer to keep some sort of cap, and so you may be seeing comments from other OSEA members before the comment deadline that reflect another position, a request to remove the caps entirely. I wanted to make sure that you're aware that there's not 100% agreement and that more comments might be coming. But in general, we think increasing the cap on the low and moderate income and low income service provider projects up to 25 is a good idea, because we hope to see more funding coming from the federal Solar for All grant into Oregon, with a focus on low income solar projects and potentially storage projects too. That's all of my comments on behalf of OSEA, and I'm happy to answer any questions or just pass the baton to the next person. Thanks.
Thank you, Angela. Appreciate your comments. Okay. Now we'll go on to Lara Worcester from ANR Solar. Nicole, you haven't put in the chat whether you'd like to provide comments. If you want to just indicate whether you do, that would be great. But yeah, we'll take comments from Lara now.
Yes, thank you, James. Thank you, everyone hosting. I just wanted to echo, and yes, us too at ANR Solar, echoing Angela and OSEA's statement. We support any attempts to lower the rebate amount in the hopes that it extends the money as long as possible to as many Oregonians as possible. We want a rebate program that's stable and durable, with less dramatic cliff events where the money runs out quickly. And we hope for a rebate program that's designed to be durable and transparent. and very much appreciate all the changes that have been made. And thank you.
Thank you, Lara. Appreciate your comments. And thanks, Nicole, for mentioning that you have no additional comments. So we do have a call-in user on the line. Want to make sure we give them the opportunity to state whether they want to provide comments or not. Patricia, are you able to unmute the call-in user? Okay, the person on the phone, you're now.
No additional comments.
No additional comments?
No additional comments.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you for being present.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in which case we have either got comments or given the opportunity for comments from everybody, all the attendees. So I'd like to thank all the attendees for being here today. As a reminder, a written testimony will be accepted until 5 p.m. December 22nd this year, 2023. No other comments or exhibits will be accepted after this date unless the department decides to extend the public comment period for everyone. After the close of the comment period, the department will review all the comments, both from today and those we receive in written form, and summarize the comments in a hearing officer's report. The Oregon Department of Energy will make the ultimate decision regarding these rules. Before we conclude, I can answer any rulemaking process questions that anybody might have. You can raise your hand or pop them in the chat, and for those on the phone, it's *3 if you wish to raise your hand. I'll just give a moment to see if anybody does have any questions. I don't see any hands or comments in the chat. So the time is 3:21. Thank you all for coming and providing comments. This concludes the public hearing. So thank you very much.